The ballroom of the Grand Crescent Hotel glowed beneath enormous crystal chandeliers that scattered warm golden light across polished marble floors. Elegant guests moved from table to table, dressed in designer suits and expensive evening gowns, while waiters carried silver trays filled with sparkling drinks and carefully plated appetizers. Soft piano music floated through the air, and cameras flashed near the stage, where banners displayed the logo of Sterling Enterprises. It was the company's LSD Bain annual charity gala, an event famous across the city. Business leaders attended. Investors attended. Local celebrities attended. People spent weeks hoping to receive an invitation. Near the entrance stood Ethan Cole. He adjusted the sleeves of a dark gray suit jacket that no longer fit properly and glanced around uncertainly. At 34, Ethan didn't belong in places like this. His hands were rough from years of physical work. His shoes had been polished carefully that afternoon, but still showed signs of where he felt out of place among people whose watches probably cost more than his monthly income. Ethan was a single father. 3 years earlier, his wife Hannah had passed away after a difficult illness, leaving him alone with their daughter Ava, who had been only 5 at the time. Everything after that became survival. During the day, Ethan worked maintenance at a local community center, repairing broken equipment, painting walls, fixing lights, and doing whatever needed to be done. At night, he picked up delivery shifts. Some months he skipped meals. Some months bills stayed unpaid longer than he wanted to admit. But Ava never went without. That was his rule. His daughter came first. 3 days earlier, something unexpected happened. A formal invitation arrived. Heavy cream paper, gold lettering. The Sterling Enterprises Annual Charity Gala. Personally invited by CEO Nathan Sterling. At first, Ethan assumed it was a mistake. Then, he remembered something. 2 weeks earlier, Sterling Enterprises had organized a public volunteer event at the community center. Nathan Sterling himself had arrived surrounded by executives, photographers, and media coverage. Everyone praised the company's generosity. During cleanup, one executive casually asked Ethan what he thought of the event. Ethan had answered honestly. "Charity matters," he'd said. "But helping people once a year doesn't mean much if workers can't afford rent the other 364 days. The executive looked surprised. Ethan continued, "My wife taught me kindness isn't publicity, it's consistency." He hadn't thought about it again until the invitation appeared. His co-workers laughed. "Maybe the CEO wants to reward honesty," others joked. "Or maybe he wants a poor guy for inspiration photos." Ethan almost threw the invitation away, but that night Ava found it. Her eyes widened. "You should go," he laughed. "To a billionaire party." She nodded seriously. "You always tell me important people are just people." That sentence stayed with him, so he borrowed a suit from his neighbor, pressed his only white shirt, found someone to watch Ava, and now he stood inside the ballroom, trying not to leave. As he quietly took a seat near the back, he noticed people glancing at him. Some curious, some confused, a few amused. Then the lights dimmed, music stopped. Nathan Sterling stepped onto the stage, tall, confident, perfectly dressed. The audience applauded. Nathan smiled into the microphone. "Tonight is about celebrating success." More applause followed. Then his expression changed. And proving something interesting, he slowly looked across the room, straight at Ethan. His smile widened. "Mr. Ethan Cole." The room turned, every eye landed on Ethan. Nathan lifted his glass. "Would you stand up for us?" For a moment, Ethan thought he had heard wrong. The room stayed silent. Hundreds of eyes turned toward the back of the ballroom, where he sat frozen beside a table of strangers. Slowly, Ethan stood. His borrowed jacket suddenly felt tighter. Nathan Sterling smiled from the stage and walked forward holding the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said smoothly, "meet Ethan Cole." A spotlight shifted and landed directly on Ethan. People politely clapped. Nathan continued, 2 weeks ago, my company volunteered at a community center. While everyone else thanked us and praised our generosity, this man said something interesting. A large screen behind the stage lit up. Ethan's stomach dropped. Someone had recorded him. His face appeared on the screen. Then his voice filled the ballroom. Helping people once a year doesn't mean much if workers can't afford rent the other 364 days. A few uncomfortable laughs echoed through the room. Nathan smiled. Bold words, people chuckled. Ethan felt heat rise into his face, so this was why he had been invited. Entertainment. A lesson. A poor single father displayed in front of wealthy guests. Nathan slowly walked across the stage. I'll admit, by saying dang. He continued, when I heard that quote, I thought, who is this maintenance worker telling me how to run a billion-dollar company? More scattered laughter. Ethan swallowed. His instinct was to leave. But then he thought of Ava. He stayed. Nathan looked directly at him. So Ethan, tell us. The room became still. You think people like me don't care? Ethan hesitated. Then, quietly answered. I think most leaders start caring. No one moved, Ethan continued. But somewhere, along the way, numbers become easier than people. The ballroom stayed silent. He took a breath. I wasn't trying to insult anyone. He looked around. I just know what it feels like when one unexpected expense means choosing which bill gets paid. No one laughed now. Ethan continued. I know what it feels like when your kid wants new shoes and you pretend hers still fit. His voice softened. And I know what it feels like when people call you hardworking, but never ask if you're okay. Silence. Nathan stared at him. Then, unexpectedly, he started clapping. Once, twice. Then again, the room looked confused. Nathan stepped down from the stage. He stopped in front of Ethan, then extended his hand. When I invited you tonight, Nathan said, his voice quieter now, I'll be honest, I wanted to prove you wrong. The audience watched. Nathan smiled slightly. But then I looked into our employee reports. He paused, and I realized you were right. People exchanged surprised looks. Nathan turned back toward the crowd. This man embarrassed me. Small, nervous laughter. Not because he insulted me. Nathan looked at Ethan, but because he reminded me of something I forgot. He returned to the stage. Effective immediately, Sterling Enterprises would launch emergency family support funds, expanded employee benefits, and leadership accountability programs. Then he looked back at Ethan, and Mr. Ethan Cole. The room waited. I'd like to offer you a position advising our community impact division. Ethan blinked. What? Nathan smiled. You weren't invited as a joke. He extended his hand again. You were invited because somebody in this company still had the courage to tell me the truth. The room stood, and this time, the applause was real.